All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. I am Joyce going to set the transcript going. Just realized that is a smart thing to do. And there it is. Okay. So, as usual, we're going to go into our dedications. And I realized I just made it so can't see anything. Alrighty. So we're going to put our dedications in the chat just for a few minutes if you want. And then Elior and I will add ours to yours. So just take a minute for this. With some lovely dedications. And I'm going to dedicate my learning to all of you, my students here who have been teaching me so much. And Talmud is the least of it. So with gratitude to all of you, and also to my Chavruta and Tech and Fairy and all the things, Elior. And we'll move on here. And we have the blessings for Torah, and we have three that we use at Svara. One, of course, is the original from Brachot 11b, and then my favorite from the Non-Binary Hebrew Project. And then we have some gorgeous feminine God language. And Elior is going to put them in the chat. And then you can follow along. You can say whatever it is that's on your heart. And if God language doesn't do it for you, just the last three words are about keeping us busy with Divrei Torah, busying ourselves with Divrei Torah. So we'll move to that one. רוחי עתה חוויה, שכינו רוח העולם, אשר קידשתנו במצוותיה, וציוותנו לעסוק בדברי תורה. Blessed are you, Spirit of the present living Spirit of the world, who has sanctified us with your commandments, with your togetherness, and commanded us or brought us close to busy ourselves with words of Torah. And just quick reminders for you about Svara community norms. This class is a home for queer and radical Torah, where we're all learners and teachers. We hold ourselves to a set of norms to help each person feel fully present, supported, and nurtured. And I should tell you, these are very lofty goals. One of the things I'm going to ask you to do at the end is Svara provides us with a feedback form, which I would greatly appreciate. So I would have some idea of how well we have been able to live up to these norms to the best of our ability. But we're always learning, and we can always do better. Let's move to the next one. And again, just really quickly, we invite you to challenge ideas, not people's experiences and identities. Reflect on the ways you occupy positions of privilege rather than asking others to explain experiences of oppression. Reach out to us if there are shifts that can make this space more accessible, as accessibility is an emergent conversation. And just reminding you that Azaria and Deborah very kindly shared with us a very large print, very clear print version of our DAF, which is available on the website, on the resource page. You can just click on that, and that is actually a copy that's not Azaria's original, but if you do want to take it and mess with it, it would be nice if you made a copy for yourself rather than changing anything on the one that everybody has access to. Honor shifting identities, maintain confidentiality, make sure your name and pronouns, if you want to share them, reflects what you'd like to be called, and most importantly, share back any harm or hurt with our teaching team. We can't fix what we don't know. So this is, I think, the most important of the norms. Make sure you speak up if for whatever reason you're feeling not right. Okay, so that's a lot of points, but actually we've done some of them. Blessings and dedications, community norms. Does anyone who was here last week want to tell us in English what it was that we've been doing the last 3 weeks? Anna?
So God balances a mountain over the Jew's head. And according to one dude, that's sort of like a coffee cup, and they're feeling a little bit like insects. And then one of the rabbis says, so basically what was going on is God said to them, if you do what I ask you, like take on this Torah stuff, all's good. And if you don't, your grave is like right here. I'll just drop this mountain. Whoopsie. And you'll be splooshed. Of course, the rabbis felt this was a little aggressive, so then we got into a whole lot of discussion. And one rabbi says, and now we had a bunch of different definitions of this last time. You can learn a lot of Torah from this, or a lot about the Torah from this, or or this is inside the Torah, or this is something the Torah. There was a lot, and that's how far we've gotten from my understanding. That's my
Anybody else?
summary.
Thank you, Anna. Anybody want to add to that? I can't see you, so if anybody's putting up your hand, I can't really see you. So you can use your electronic hand or you can just pipe up. Like you did a good job, Anna. So just a reminder that one of the possible translations of the many words that we saw. Oh, and thank you, Elio. Elio put the resources for the class in the chat. You have them in your email, but this way they're right there for you. Thank you. And so one of the possible translations for moda'ah, which is a word that we found, moda'ah rabba, a big something. One of the possible translations for that would be a caveat or an objection or a protest to the Torah, which would suggest that the rabbis are pushing some sort of edge case here. And in the extreme, you could say they're basically destabilizing their own project and saying, well, the Torah is not valid because it was given under coercion. And obviously that's not where they want to end up. So this week we're going to see some of what they did with that, and we'll see. Hopefully we'll have time to decide what we're going to do with that. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of pre-teaching before that, just a couple of words that I'm going to like speed you up a little bit, show you where you can find them and so on, and just to try and make sure that we have time to actually also do some meaning making. Like I said, next time I teach this class, it will be longer, but we're going to do our best with what we got. So let's move on. Okay, so this, first of all, I wanted to show you where on the daf we are. So you can see we ended up with Oraita, which we had much discussion about. And then the first word there is Ama, which we've seen several times. And then at the end, you'll see right at the end of the sugya, there's like this little corner thing. And I've also marked it in purple, but you can see what that little square thing is, that is the end of our sugya. So this is the end of what we're doing. Now, if you see, look on the right-hand side, you'll see that there's something that looks, a little word that looks like Rashi script. Thank you, Elior. And in case you can't read Rashi script, which most people can't, it actually says Esther Tet, so Esther 9. So there's a quote there from the 9th chapter of Esther. And there's a couple of words there that we're going to look at. But first of all, let's go to the next slide, please. Oh, okay, just before we get there, just reminding you where on the hint sheet. Now, there's one word there that's not on the hint sheet, and what's happened in the past is that people are like, well, it wasn't on the hint sheet, so we just skipped it. If it's not on the hint sheet, look it up as is in Jastro specifically, because if it's not on the hint sheet, there's a good chance you can just find it as is. So you can, again, I left in Oraita there as a marker for you to know where to start, and then just goes to the end because this is the end of our sugya. Okay, next. Okay, this is a little hard to read, I apologize, but you have a better copy of it yourselves. I just wanted to show you, this is what our kra sheet, kra is Aramaic for read, which basically means whenever there's a kra, that's a quote from the Tanakh. And we had two in this sugya. So the first one was from Exodus, that whole business about the words that we started with, if you remember at the bottom. So the Kashit is giving you a conventional translation. So you don't have to accept this translation as, the be all and end all, but it gives you context. And you can see that the bolded words in the second paragraph, which is from Esther, kimu v'kiblu. Okay, so here it's translated as established and accepted. So again, when you get to there, you can look at your Rashi and you'll see the context for that quote from the Megillah. Okay, next. Okay, so this is a page from Jastro. I apologize, when I cropped it, I took out the actual page number, but I do have it. That is, what did I do with it? Apologies. Okay, so that page is actually 1330. I mean, you'll find it, but I wanted to show you that when you look up kum, I realize I can't really read it properly, but if you look at the meanings for it, it says to stand up, rise, to stand, exist, and then it has to do with things being stood up, standing, rising, existing, being established. Okay, let's move to the next one. Just wanted to speed you up a bit so you'll know what to look for. Okay, and then this one is page 1308, I think, something like that. And it's Kabal, and it's in the PL there. To receive, to accept, to take as an obligation upon oneself. Again, you'll have plenty of time to look at these. I just wanted to give you a bit of a leg up on this. They were a lot bigger on my screen. That has to do with just the way we're doing this. My apologies. Anybody have any questions up until now? Says you'll have time to look at them in Chavruta. You don't need to have taken them from here. Okay, so just a reminder, how to Chavruta. Check in with each other. How are you showing up? Especially if you haven't been in Chavruta. before it's a little bit of a mix and match situation because some people aren't here. So if you know each other, just check in. If you don't know each other, introduce yourself. Remember that you're a team. And we've been doing Chazara, so that's reviewing. Just look at the previous text, and then so look at that before you look at this week's text, and go at a good pace. Look up each word as thoroughly as you can. Remember, it totally doesn't matter how many words you get. If you get one word, you're good. And every word you get is infinitely beautiful. And we're all going to do it together. So nobody's going to be left behind. It doesn't matter how many words you get in Chavruta. The process of working on these words is what this is about. And remember to use the hint sheet. And again, if you have a word and it's not on the hint sheet, don't just skip it. You just look it up as is, and you may find something. Take notes, take a break before shul. We'll send out a broadcast at 10 minutes before. And we're going to come by and visit the breakout rooms. But if you need anything when we're not there, just hit the ask for help button. And you guys know all this. This is week 4. I just wanted to make sure we just go over it. Okay, next one. Okay, so just a reminder again where we are. So we're starting after Oraita, and we're going right to the end of the Sugya. And there's a bit of a abbreviation there, but you can look that up. The abbreviations at the end of Frank, and everything else you can find. The hint sheet will help you with that. Any questions before we go into Chavruta? You guys are all, this is old hat. We've done this 3 times already. Okay. Next one, please, Ilya. All right, that was everything I wanted to cover. So we'll see you at the top of the hour, and have fun. All right, welcome back, everybody. My chat was not working there. There we go. All right. So hope everyone had a good Chavruta, and we can go through these. Probably discovered that there were fewer words than you actually thought they were, at least fewer important words. So who wants to get us started off? I know that there's nobody who only got one word, because everybody got Amal. Who wants to get us started off? Deborah and Azaria, can I volunteer you to get us started off? You don't have to, but if you want to.
Solomon was raising their hand.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's the problem with the thing. Okay, you know what? Deborah and Azaria, I will let you chime in later, but Solomon's not, for various reasons, has not been with us so much. So let's, why don't you get us started, Solomon?
All right, we have a lot of questions still, but we definitely got a few of the words. So there was, you know, Omar, right? It said somebody's name said.
Okay, let's do one word at a time. So
Okay.
Let's do
Amar.
said. We've had this one a number of times, so we won't spend a lot of time about it. Okay, and
Next up is, looks like Rava.
Rava. Yeah.
Rava.
I was saying to Leo earlier, we could spend the whole half hour talking about Rava, but we won't. He's one of the heroes of Svara. Deborah's laughing because she knows that we could easily spend an hour talking about Rava. But
Nice.
Or any of the other words.
yeah, but especially that one. Because he's the guy who brought forward the concept of Svara, which the yeshiva is named after. And he was
Oh, I didn't actually know that. You're like thinking way too highly of me.
I always think highly.
I figured this was general. I was just attributing it to general geekery.
Well, yeah, that too. So yeah. Well, Rava. So said Rava. Okay, and then we have all these little words that you guys were having fun with.
Right. So we looked it up and we found that the next sort of 8 characters, those little 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 letter words, they are, what is it? They're an abbreviation or something, and they're a chunk, they're a piece that means in spite of or nevertheless. Can I pronounce it? No, I cannot. But
Af al pi chen. It's not as hard as it looks. Just take it slowly. Af al pi chen. So actually, because we've got more important words, we're going to just put them together, and we're going to say that means nevertheless. Unless somebody found something else.
I mean, the first 3 are nose on mouth.
They are. You can't see my annotations?
no,
Why can't you see my annotations?
I don't know. I see one like horizontal line under the first aleph, and then no more annotations happened.
That is very weird.
Yeah, I don't see him either. I thought it was just me.
Okay. All right, you know what? I'll kill them and start again. I don't know what to. I can see them. Clear all drawings. Kill the annotation and start again. Okay, because there I'm sitting here putting in the nikud.
Yep, but it's not updating.
Can you guys see the nikud?
Nope.
I'm still seeing the same.
You want me to try on my end?
Yeah, okay, but I don't know why.
I don't either.
It's a mistake. Technology was a mistake.
Technology was definitely a mistake.
My husband, the computer programmer, often says technology was a mistake. We should have never come down from the trees.
Yeah, we should never ever have taught sand how to think.
This is just very. Let me try again, because
So, I do not have the Nikud in front of me. So, is this supposed to be a kamatz under the mem?
yeah, you know, let me try it again. I just changed something. Yes, and then let me try under Rava. Can you guys see that?
Yes. Now,
I can see mine with the blue one.
Can you see
Yes.
my purple ones?
Nope. We can only see the horizontal bar under the Aleph in purple. Everything else that I can see is blue.
That is so weird. Okay, well then carry on, Eliyahu. Okay, so there's kamatz under the aleph and under the ayin. Oh, this is very annoying. No, sorry, it's not a kamatz, it's a patach. Patach under the aleph, patach under the ayin.
Elior, can you see what,
No, these are supposed to be a patach.
Sorry, you use a patach under the aleph. Oh, now it's not erasing.
Oh,
What's
wonderful.
up with that?
That is very bizarre. All right.
That's so weird.
Elior?
Yeah.
Elior, stop sharing and restart sharing. It'll fix it.
Okay.
Really, trust me.
We
I
you.
trust you.
You're a teacher, right, Anna?
Yeah,
So you know all about these things.
sure.
Let
Let's go with that.
All right.
me try.
Now
this.
try.
Let me try.
Yeah.
Rather than me telling you what Nikud to put, which is. Let's try this again. Okay, can you guys
Oh.
see?
Yay, I see.
Yeah.
Hooray. All right, I'm Rava Af Al P N. Okay, so said, and now you guys can see it.
Now we can see.
Yay, Rava Af Al Pi Chen. Nevertheless, unless, like I said, unless somebody else has found something else which is more interesting than that.
And was this the one where it was something about being up to your nose in something?
Yes, because the
Yes.
word af means nose as well as nevertheless. So it's very weird because this word means af means nose and p means mouth. But so we could do really fascinating things with this, but I'm not going to. And then we're getting Rava's talking a weird combination of Aramaic and Hebrew, which is very interesting. So this word, did anybody get this word?
It looked like it was to form the circle or the enclosure, but it was a little unclear.
Okay, could be a circle. Anybody else got something with this word?
If you follow circle a little bit further, it gets to generations. So it's the people in your circle, and Lador Vador is the circles of generations interlocking with each other like a chain.
I love it. Although this is Hador, not Hador, but because it's Aramaic, not Hebrew, but they're all related, as you know. Anybody else got anything with this word? Anna, Aaron, did you guys get this word? Okay, we'll leave it for now and we'll keep going. And then we have,
Is Cain part of the nevertheless expression? Did we say what Cain means?
chen. Yeah, it's,
Oh, chen.
yeah, it is part of it. Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
weird. If it were by itself, it would be kin, and it just means yes or this. But it's chen because of the yud before it. Let's not get into that. But yes, it is part of the nevertheless expression.
Okay.
It's kind of the in it, but it's not, it doesn't map exactly, but that is what it means.
Okay.
And then
Sorry to interrupt, because we
Yeah.
had just said FLP, so I was confused.
so Hador, we've got circle, we've got generations, so we'll leave it for now and come back later for, stop that. do that. Sometimes this tablet gets really weird. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, this word is related to one we had right at the beginning of this sugya, if anybody remembers. Bit of a complex word, but let's just look at it. Do we have nose over mouth? Yes, I love it, Elior. So do we have any prefix, suffixes? How are we doing here? Anybody want to pick this up? Did you guys get this far, Solomon and Jasper and Tara?
We maybe. You had said to receive, accept, or take on obligation. So we did not look at that word very hard. We really flopped on the next word. So
Okay, well, let's look at, did anybody look at this word? Because you're right, it is related to that root for sure.
Yeah, we had mikabelim earlier.
We did.
Yeah.
So let's look at this, kabluha, and tell me, do we see prefix, suffix, root?
We, go ahead.
Oh, you could.
It's okay, we're a small group, we can just.
Okay, so the root is kufbet lamed, and I'm gonna confess I'm looking at my notes from the last time we looked up this root. So it's on Jastrow, page 308. To seize, to join, to meet, to correspond, and in the PL it is to accept, to take an obligation on oneself.
Right before ye. To seize, accept.
And I'm not sure what is up with the
With the suffix?
with the suffix. Yeah.
Anybody have thoughts on this suffix? Is it on the
I figured her.
her? Yeah, definitely feminine. Do we have a number? Is it singular, plural?
Singular. Cause no oo, so
Oh, there's the oo. The oo's right there.
yeah, but
So there's two different
there's
suffixes there.
there's two suffixes. There's the oo, which says who's doing the accepting, and there's the ha, which I understood as what they're accepting. So kibluha, I thought that meant they accepted her.
So there's your plural. There's the oo. Exactly right. Okay, so there's two. So they accepted her. Okay, we're still in the inside. So accept they her. Okay. And then we have, did anybody have anything more to add to this word? Okay, so let's move to the next one. You guys were having some issues with it, Solomon? You want to tell us about it?
we found it sort of in Jastrow, and it said Frank, page 62A was the only thing that made any sense. There was a lot of other stuff there, but I couldn't read any of it. It was a bunch of abbreviations and like, who the heck knows? We looked for Frank, page 62A. It had nothing to do with this. So we just got a big fat zero. There's nothing. You had said something about Yom, but I don't remember what that was that you had said. All I know is that I wrote down Yom in parentheses next to it. So
Okay, so let's analyze this. First of all,
Yeah.
we have presumably prefix. Is there also a suffix? Anybody want to jump in? Deborah, you're nodding. What's the suffix?
The yud.
Yeah. So what's the root? Oh, actually, you gave us the root already, Solomon. I'm going to do it with a mem sulfite just to make it look a little more familiar. Anybody know what this day? What this day? Oi, anybody know what this word means?
In the day of.
Okay, so this is a root. That means.
So it's like it's a smichut.
Mm-hmm.
It is a
So smichut is a
I do think
construct
it's a
form?
plural smichut.
The plural smichut, right? So
Mm,
okay,
yes.
so let's start with the prefix. What does B give us?
In.
In. Yeah. And this one gives us.
It would be yud mem in the general plural, but because it's smichut, that final mem is dropped off, so it's just a plural smichut.
Yeah. So what does it mean?
In days of.
In days of. Does
Can I do a quick little fairy thing over here in the corner?
Please.
So if we take the word, I'm going to write it in black letters because I don't know if anybody, whoops, come on, annotate. There we go.
Where I have go back. You've gone to the next slide.
Sorry,
You've put us on the
Oh.
next slide. Go back.
whoops.
We're not ready for that yet. This is
Nope,
messy.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
It was because I hit the thing without being in annotate. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna write in black letters because I don't know if everybody knows script. So if we've got yom, that's supposed to be a yud right there. Sorry. So we've got yom, but if it's a bunch of days, it becomes yamim, right? So I don't know the nikud. It might be like that. Is that right? Patach and
Probably.
Emet, Israeli Hebrew speaker. Okay, so what happens with smichut of a plural is you get rid of this final mem, and you've got this yami, and it just becomes yame. So that's how we get the days of, the plural days of. Does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna get out of the annotation and hand it back to you, Emmett.
All right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to say we did actually play with the Kibel business for a bit because it was fun. I'm just slow today because seriously, I've been up too long. But if you keep going on page 1309, they have all sorts of things with completely different vowels, but hey, the same 3 letters, so we figured why not read them just in case. And that gives you almost anything you could want it to mean. Visit, listen, obey, receive, take up, accept, which we have, but also feel oppressed and to cry, to complain, to lament, to be misty, or to be dark.
It's a great word.
So whatever the heck you want it to mean, actually.
Well, we found in Svara, we find that most words end up meaning either join or sparkle. So I'm sure you could get there from these as well. But
I think something about accept, visit, complain, and feel oppressed is a great way of describing the Jewish people in the desert.
absolutely. And also at this other time that
Yeah, I was gonna
Jonathan was talking
say,
about.
only in the desert?
Any other time. So I presume, did everybody pick up the name that comes at the end of this line? And Azaria put in the chat what I was going to say, which is awesome. I don't know if everybody got the opportunity to hear the Megillah this Purim. It is complete coincidence that I'm teaching this class just around Purim time, but it's perfect. So this name here, did anybody look up who this guy is? Or did you recognize his name? And you can see in the chat that this is actually Bimei Achashverosh, that is Rava quoting the Megillah. And it's interesting that we don't have it in our Kra text because it's kind of a casual, almost like a throwaway line. But just to go back to the inside of this, so said Rava.
I don't think it's a throwaway line. It feels like Legos. Like
Yeah.
the way our tradition develops is we introduce new concepts by taking the bricks from previous things and stacking them in a different way. Like
Yeah,
there are
we
other ways we could say that in the time of Esther, but no, it's like let's just quote the Megillah directly because that will evoke all of the feelings of hearing the Megillah. Like it's not
Absolutely.
throwaway, it's intentional.
Oh, yeah, but what I
Yeah.
meant by throwaway is just like basically that he's pressing that button, but he's not being very explicit about it. Like somebody who didn't know who Achashverosh was could just completely read over that. It's like, oh, it's in the time of somebody and not realize that it was a direct quote from the Megillah. So let's go back. So said Rava, nevertheless, despite this whole business with the Torah being apparently not valid because of the coercion at Sinai. Okay, let's go back to this word hadur, circle of generations. It's actually Aramaic, which makes it a little, maybe I should change colors here because you guys can probably not see what I'm doing. Okay, is dark blue good for you, Deborah?
I think so.
Let me try it. Again. Can you read that?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll just use that instead of the purple, which is a purple. Okay, so this is actually, if you go back and you look at it in the Aramaic, and of course you guys didn't have the vowels, hadur is again. So we're talking about how at Sinai, they accepted it under threat, according to the rabbis. But it was actually not valid because it was under threat. But Rava says, but nevertheless, they accepted it again. And when? In the days of Achashverosh. And I realize we're running out of time, but with your permission, we'll go a little over. Okay, let's quickly erase this and go to the next one. Okay. Did anybody get this line as well? Let me just very quickly. Okay, so this word is it, dichtiv is Aramaic for it is written. So what it means then is that you're going to get a quote. And so I gave you guys Kimu v'Kiblu because this is a direct quote and it's on your Kra sheet. So this is a quote, direct quote from the book of Esther. And usually translated as established and accepted. And this word, anybody recognize this word? I mean, it's in the Kra sheet. So
Hayehudim.
the Yehudim, the Jews, which is interesting that Rava is talking about the Jews because the people in the desert were not Jews, they were Israelites. But basically he's saying whatever they accepted or didn't accept, it was accepted again by the Jews. And then he says, Kimu ma shekiblu kvar. And again, just because of time, so again, this is the same word. They established what they had already received. So let's go to the next one there, where we have both of the lines with Nikud. Okay, I think we lost somebody. Okay, so let's put in the translation quickly. I hate that we're rushing at the end like this, but okay, can we type this, Sylvia?
Oh, sorry, typing. I forgot.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right. I'm supposed to type this thing.
Well, I mean, I can write it, but it'll be much more legible for everybody if you type it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. I was like too busy thinking, shoot, I missed Solomon before
Yeah, that's okay.
before they left. Okay, so Lava said, nevertheless, you tell me what you want me to write here.
They received it again in the days of Achashverosh.
I don't know how to spell received.
I before you, except after C, so you're good. Achashverosh, yeah. Okay, and then the next one. As it is written. Oh Lord, next time I do this, it'll definitely be a longer course.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews established and received. Not Jewish, the Jews.
And what's the last part? The Kaimuma Shiki Blue
They
Quell.
established what they had already received. And it should be Jews, not Jewish.
Oops. I can type.
Yeah. I know we're over time, but I want you guys to give me your thoughts on this, especially when you consider what the Megillah is about. Is the Megillah about accepting the Torah?
How about that? The context of this particular verse.
I don't know. Well, you can see it on the cross sheet, actually. The Jews established and accepted upon themselves and their descendants, and all who might join them, to observe these 2 days in the manner prescribed and at the proper time each year. So in the Megillah, the Jews are establishing and receiving and accepting upon themselves Purim. It's got nothing to do with the Torah. This is classic Talmudic taking things out of context. And this is why we really need another session just to talk about this.
I don't necessarily think that it is that much of a leap, though. Like, this is about the Jews establishing themselves as a separate people with a separate identity while in the process of assimilation. Like, we have all the descriptions of shatnez throughout the Megillah, all the mixture of linen and wool in the royal garments that Mordecai is wearing. And yet, even in that change of dress, even in that assimilation to the place of power in the Persian Empire, they are still establishing themselves as Jews, as fully distinct people.
That's deep.
Well,
Sorry, you didn't ask for surface things. You asked what I was thinking, and whether I saw that, Esther being about Dora. Like, yeah, I do.
that is a good thought. Anyone else? We're obviously going to have to do a second edition of this class in which we go more deeply into this because especially for those of you on the East Coast, it's getting quite late.
Yeah, and of course we'll be here if anybody wants to do
And
after party time to dig in a little deeper.
Before we do that, first of all, we need to bless up our learning, of course, but also, given that this is the last session, although clearly it shouldn't have been, we do have an evaluation form, like a feedback form, which I would be super grateful if you guys would put your honest thoughts in there so that I can do better next time. Oops. Just get rid of those writings. There we are.
I'm trying to. Sorry. I'm having a little mouse issue here. There. Okay.
There we go. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. And now Eliar's going to put in the chat the link for the feedback form. And so you can pick it up and put it in your browser. It'll also be in the email, but I know how it goes with these things. So if you guys could do it, that would be awesome. It is not very long. And I think that might be it. Can do a little nigun, and then if anybody's up for an after party to keep talking about this, we can do that. And I wanted to thank you all, regardless, because you kept showing up and you've been amazing and greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much for leading the class, and for Eliar too. All the work that you've both put into this.
Yeah. So great to meet everyone.
Joy. And we'll definitely tell you about Eliar's class because you should definitely take it. It will be different but the same. Let me just turn off the recording. So I would if it would show up for me. I'm not the only one with mouse issues.
You can win.